good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on when you're watching this video. Let's chill out and let's talk about cancel culture. Now, in this day and age, everybody pretty much knows what cancel culture is. It's basically something you said or did in your past or something you said and you did currently. If it's not PC, you're being canceled for it. You're being X'd out. Businesses are foregoing relationships with you. They don't want to have any relationships with you. People are calling you out or don't want any relationships or connections with you. They're trying to limit your reach. All this in all different type of ventures or businesses or whatever you do, whether it's music, whether it's art, whether it's your fashion model, whatever it is, you're being canceled in all different forms depending on what you said or did in the past or currently that is not of today's standards. PC. Examples of cancel culture will be the Tory Lane situation, the Paula Deen situation, the DaBaby situation, a bunch of other things stemming from basically somebody not understanding or saying something so out of terms that today would not fly as it would back in the day. Or even back in the day, things that are being brought up and say, hey, you said or did this back in the day, and now we're calling you out for it. Here's the issue with that. They're human. They make mistakes. Things that were joked about or made jokes about back in the day were jokes of that time, and nobody scoffed, looked at it, a second thought, nothing. Nobody blinked at it, anything. It was just of that time, and of course it would not fly today with how strict and how politically correct everything is now. Some people say, oh, you're taking the fun out of it, but that's of that time. That's what that time was, right? Things that were said or done then weren't and aren't going to fly today. People make mistakes. People have flaws, negatives. People make bad judgment calls in that time. Are people not allowed to make mistakes? Is it really a mistake if people learn and grow from it? Why are people not allowed to grow? Why are people allowed or able to be held into this one standard of themselves where they are placed in this box where they're not allowed to grow out of this one situation? This one situation where they were abusive to somebody, they said something racist that they weren't really meaning or intending, or they said something or did something to a politically correct group now, or they did or said something that is offensive now to somebody or some group of people. In the past, that wasn't as serious as it was then as it is now, or they don't have the strength or the power as they did then as they do now. So taking those people and saying, you're not allowed to grow from that situation. You haven't changed from that situation in 10 or 20 years, 5 years, whatever it is, 10, maybe 3 years. You haven't changed from that situation. We're not allowing you to grow. We're holding you to this. This is all you are. This is all we know you as, and this is all you are. You're not allowed to grow past that. Oh, it's 5 years since then. You've changed your ideologies. You changed your ideas. You changed so much about yourself. We don't care about that. We're holding you to this, and we're going to cancel you because of this, no matter how much you've grown as a person since then. That's my issue with holding stuff accountable back then. As far as holding people accountable today, I have no issue or problem with that. The thought of being held accountable, I have no issue or problem with that. As far as offensive terms or things that just aren't going to fly or that are disrespectful to somebody or a group of people, I have no problem with holding people accountable to that. But here's the issue with canceling somebody. You can't cancel anybody. To say, I'm going to cancel you means I'm going to take food away from you. I'm going to take opportunities away from you. I'm going to take your success away from you, or at least a measure of success away from you. I'm going to take away everything that you've been building up because of this one comment that you said that you may or may not mean and may not have meant in that way that you said it, or way that you did it. I'm going to take those opportunities away from you and make sure you don't have that same reach that you had before. I'm going to cancel you. We can't cancel anybody. We can't cancel anybody. And the issue with canceling nowadays is what it does is it removes the dialect. It removes the dialogue of having the important conversations that we need to have today. Some of the things that are said may be offensive to a group of people, but it might be the actual truth. So when I say that, I mean, a lot of people, when they cancel somebody nowadays, sometimes it's not off of just racist remarks. Maybe it also may be out of control. We want you to think. We want you to feel. We want you to say what we want you to say. And I'm not going to single anybody out with this, but a lot of people that I've seen, they want to hold you accountable for ways of thinking that you always thought that how you were brought up is not aligned with how they think and how they see the world and how they want to be seen. They want you to think how they think They want to control how you feel. They want to control how you talk. They want to control how you move and the things that you move. They want to control the people you interact with. They want to control all these things. This is the cancel culture that we're seeing nowadays. We're also seeing the cancel culture that if you say an offensive remark, if you say something that's not up to standards of today, the PC world of today, then you're canceled or you're X'd out or you don't get the same privileges as you did before. That removes the dialogue and the conversations that needs to be had about the world today. That removes the dialogue of, this is happening right now, let's talk about it. This gay, LGBT, queer issue is happening right now, let's talk about it. The DaBaby situation, for example. That opened a whole dialogue of how straight men think, straight black men in particularly, but also straight men as a whole, how a lot of them think about gay and transgender people, queer people. That opened a dialogue, and instead of let's open this dialogue, because obviously DaBaby was misinformed about HIV and about the LGBT community. So instead of saying, oh, fuck you guys, he listened and he said, I was wrong, I was mistaken. Now, whether that's enough for you or not, or whether you believe it's genuine or sincere, that's a whole nother issue. And whether he is sincere or genuine, I cannot say, or whatever the case may be. But that situation in particular opened that line of dialogue of, hey, a lot of men think this way. Let's address this way of thinking. But instead of doing that, they instantly jump down the story. Let's cancel him. Let's cancel him. Another example, the Tory Lanez Megan Thee Stallion situation. It can open the whole dialogue about minding your business. About people are human too. Celebrities are human too. Celebrities, although they are placed on a pedestal, they are no greater or no better than any other human being. They just simply have a particular set of skills, a talent that have led them into fame or money that they deserve because they have a talent or some type of skill or some type of look that have led them down this path. And they worked hard to achieve that talent and achieve that goal. That is what a celebrity basically is. And we put these people on pedestals saying they're not allowed to make mistakes. They're perfect. They can't do or say anything wrong. They have to agree with all my ideologies, right? And the minute they don't, oh, they're a horrible person. For example, Chris Brown and Rihanna. When Chris Brown, I won't say abused, but Chris Brown hit Rihanna in a fight in a car, and she took a picture and her face was swollen, right? Chris Brown was villainized. Later in the situation, Chris Brown spoke about that he was hit first by Rihanna. Now, does that mean you hit somebody back? Not particularly yes or no, but some people believe if you hit me, I hit you back. And some people, depending on their mental state and, their situation and how they view certain things, they respond a certain way at a certain time, and maybe later in life they wouldn't respond in the same way with growth. Like I said, people aren't allowed to grow. Tory Lanez and Megan Thee Stallion situation basically opened the door for the dialogue of celebrities are people too. Even though they are these celebrities, which means all they have is a little bit more money than us and a little bit more notoriety than us. And a lot of people share those same talents that they have, but they just haven't been given the platform to showcase it. Tory Lanez and Megan Thee Stallion, two megastars in rap and hip hop. They've earned their spot, but they're human. They make mistakes. They make bad judgment calls. They make bad decisions. And sometimes they learn from them. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes it takes multiple mistakes in the same vein to learn from that mistake. But celebrities are human too, and they make mistakes. And to try to put them on a pedestal like they're not allowed to have a fight, they're not allowed to have a disagreement or argument, whatever the case may be, it's not up for me to decide. Because everybody, whether you're famous or not, has been in an argument with their partner. Now, whether you put hands or physically touched somebody, that's a whole different case. Not everybody has done that. But some people have. Do you deserve to be canceled for that? Do you deserve to not be given another chance? Do you deserve to not be understood? Do you deserve not to grow from that situation? It opens the door that everybody is the same. Everybody doesn't deserve, everybody shouldn't have special treatment or shouldn't deserve, oh, this angel-like status, this god-like status of never making a mistake. And I know that when celebrities take on the celebrity role, part of that celebrity role is a role model. And I know that's what people hold people's, standards to or expectations to as a celebrity is your role model now, and you can't be making these mistakes. That's what they try to hold you to. But everybody is human. You forget that we're human. And with human, we're not perfect. We don't know everything. We don't know what's going to offend anybody. We don't know what's going to offend everyone. We can't please everyone, and we're not going to make everybody mad. We don't know how you think. All we know is how we think and how we were brought up by our parents and the people around us. That's all we know. And we try to figure out the world and try to maneuver through everything throughout that. We try to learn, okay, this isn't okay to say because of this. We shouldn't do this because of this. This is going to offend these people. This is going to offend that group of people. This is going to offend this business. This is going to ruin this opportunity. We figure that out along the way. And we figure out about ourselves. It also opened the door for mind your mother effing business. If it doesn't pertain to you, why are you so concerned with it? Why are you so concerned with it? Especially if you're offended about a word that doesn't even pertain to you. For example, if a transgender is called something that they may or may not like the word tranny, if you're offended by it and you're not a transgender person, why are you offended by it? If the group of people that are not offended by it aren't offended by it, why are you offended by it? If a black person is called the N-word by a group of white or Mexican people, and they're not offended by it, then why should a white person be offended that another white person used the N-word around black people and the black people aren't offended by it? If a gay person is called a name and they're not offended by it by their straight friend, why should you be offended by it as another person that's not gay? We like to place and put ourselves in situations that doesn't involve us at all. Why? Because I feel like we like to control people. We like to have these situations in ourselves that say, hey, I speak for everybody. I speak for everybody in this particular situation. How I feel and how I think, and I know a couple people that think and feel like I do. I'm speaking for everybody in this situation, even though it does not pertain to me, even though I am not that particular group of people. But at the same time, while cancel culture has a lot of negatives, it also has a positive, and that is holding people accountable that deserve to be held accountable so they can see the errors of their ways and not to make the same errors and the same mistakes again, and to grow from them same errors and mistakes. Now, do they deserve to have opportunities taken away from them? Possibly. If they're overall bad people, but I don't believe that anybody is bad. I believe that situations make a person into the way that they think and to the way that they are. But overall, is somebody evil or a bad person? I don't believe that anybody is necessarily born evil. I believe situations teach you to be evil. Things are manifested from evil, right? The way that you think is not the way that you thought when you were first born. The soul is not corrupt. The soul is not evil. The soul is not bad. It's just the soul. Now, the personality, the mentality, the way of thinking, that may be evil. That may be bad. That may be horrible. That may be disgusting. That may be repulsive. I agree. But that person deep down, in their core, their soul, is not a bad person. What they were led to believe since birth from other people, whether hatred or bigotry or, not understanding, just disrespecting a certain group of people, that is evil. But that is taught. That is not instilled with birth. So I don't believe that no particular person is incapable of change or is incapable of growth or is incapable of understanding or compassion. So to just completely cancel and X somebody out and say they don't deserve another opportunity, they don't deserve understanding, they don't deserve compassion, I disagree with that. Holding the right people accountable when they need to be held accountable is something that needs to be happening. And accountability is something that the world lacks. Because when somebody makes a mistake or when somebody says they're going to do something, they don't do it. Why? Because they have nobody to hold them accountable. Nobody said, hey, I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to eat better. I'm going to take better care of my health if I'm overweight, grotesquely overweight. I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to take better care of my health. 2 weeks later, have you done that? Whoa, no, well, you said you were going to do it. You need to get on it. And then people instinctively get attacked. They feel attacked. Oh, what do you mean? I can do whatever I want. I'll do it when I want to. I can do it whenever I want. I'll do it when I want to. What do you leave me alone? I can do it. I don't need your help. People instantly feel attacked when they're held accountable, when they don't do what they said they were going to do. There's a phrase that says, word is bond. What you say is your word. What you say is your truth. What you say is your bond to somebody. So if you say you're going to do something, then do it. Otherwise, your word, when you say you're going to do something or when you say something, it might not hold the same strength as when you say it and when you do it every single time. Obviously, things are going to come up to where you can't do something that you said that you were going to do. But if you say that you want to achieve something, if you say that you want to do something, then do it. And having somebody hold you accountable to that is always good, because then you know that you have that on the back of your neck that you need to do it. Not because of them, not because, oh, I'm scared of them or because I need to please them or make them happy. Just for the fact that I said I was going to do something. Now I have somebody watching me to make sure I do it. And I'm going to do it for me because it's the right thing that I want to do for myself. So while holding people accountable is not necessarily a bad thing, it can lead to growth. It can lead to change. It can lead to understanding. It can lead to understanding. It can lead to overall maturity and an understanding of the planet and of the people around you and of yourself. The mentalities that can change. The personalities that can change. The actions that can change. The dialogue, the way of speaking, the way of thinking, all of that can change with holding somebody accountable. But canceling somebody and trying to control them, trying to make them believe how you believe, like your way is the only way to think. Your way is the right way to think. I believe that we have many different paths to one truth. And on that path to that one truth, we all have individual truths on the way there. I truly believe that. But to discredit somebody for something that they did in the past, as if they're not allowed to grow, and hold people to that one instance of what you knew them as, or to try to cancel somebody and take away opportunities and money and food and all these type of things from them currently, is wrong as a human being, because it doesn't allow that dialogue. It allows people to stay in this one mind frame that you try to keep them in, and it doesn't allow them to grow. And that's what we want to do as human beings, is grow. We all want the same things in life, and we were all taught different ways of how to get it growing up. That's not our fault, but we can grow to an understanding. We all want peace of mind, happiness, and love. And because of how we were brought up and where we were raised and the environment we were brought up in, we all have different understandings of what happiness, love, and success and peace of mind is. But there is one truth. And on that path, you will encounter many truths. Your truth may grow. It may grow from what you thought it was at 12 years old to what you thought at 16-year-old. Your truth may be different from 16-year-old to 22-year-old, 22-year-old to 30 years old. Your truth may grow and be different in each stage of your life. But you're going to grow. And I'll end it with this. The people that made those mistakes, the people that said those things or did those things that we consider so heinous, are they not allowed to grow?